Hi, so I figured I'd make a real quick video and just talk about Masters of the Universe Origins swords and hands. Now, so far in the line we've gotten 4 distinct hands as far as I can tell. We've gotten the hero hand, seen here on Prince Adam. It's also used on Man-at-Arms, He-Man, probably a few others, Clamp Champ, basically your human characters. Then there's the robot hand, which you can see here on Man-E-Faces. So far, he's the only one to use this one. There's the monster hand, seen here on Scareglow. It's also used, of course, on Skeletor and Merman, and I think on Keldor. I'm not 100% sure. I've switched the hands on Keldor and Skeletor around a bit, and I've lost track of who's got what. Then there's the other monster hand, seen here on Stratos, also used, of course, on Beastman. So far, those are the only 2. Then, of course, there's the big fist for Fisto and the Ram Man hands, but I'm not using those because they don't hold the swords at all. They don't really need to. What I've noticed interesting is that the hero hand doesn't have too much of a problem generally holding on to the swords. Adam's hand is stretched out a little bit from holding his old pink sword, but as you can see, you can hold the He-Man sword, the Skeletor sword. You can have him hold them when they're connected. One of the big problems with all the hands is the thumb sticks up, so it kind of pushes the sword out of the way. He's also got no problem holding the modified pink sword that he came with, or the sword that came with Keldor and Cronus. Now, what I've noticed is interesting is the monster hand can't hold on to this sword. It's almost like putting the old big sword, but if you put it in upside down, no problem. He holds on to it just fine. And that's true with the pink sword. As you can see, he can hold it upside down. Not really right side up. It's not in there very securely. And then with the 2 half swords, he does okay holding on to those. There it goes. But again, if we go upside down, got a nice good grip on that. With Man-E-Faces, he can hold it. It's in there securely, but it's not seated properly. And that seems to be true with half swords. With Stratos, he can't, his grip is way too small. So, yeah, this isn't even gonna, and again, that thumb just, it gets in the way. He can't, I mean, he can hold it like that, and that's all you're gonna do with that. So I think it's interesting that they've tried to recreate all these old figures, but I think in some cases they stayed a little too faithful. I think the thumb sticking up was a bad call back then. It's still a bad call now. I mean, they can give you a thumbs up, or they can give a thumbs down. But really, it hurts. It hurts the figures, especially when trying to get them to hold certain accessories. And I think it's odd that there's not a consistent size. All these 4 different hands seem to have a slightly different size of grip, and it's really obvious if you look at these 2 side by side, Stratos is much smaller, much smaller grip than Atoms. I think updating the line was a great choice. These figures are a lot of fun, and the nostalgia is there, and the new modern articulation really helps sell these as new, better toys compared to the vintage line. But I think they should have tried to get some consistency with grip size and handle size for weapons and vehicles, because I've also noticed, looking at the Sky Sleds, that a lot of the figures' hands seem to want to have to stretch to get around the handles. Let's see here with Miss Teela. Those handles are huge in her little hands, and it's really stretching things out, and that's no good. So I thought that was an interesting observation about their hands and the handles for their weapons. It's not consistent, which is really kind of disappointing. But that's all I gotta say about that.